Good morning, everyone. Can you all hear me?
Good morning, sir. Yes, sir.
Good morning, sir. Yes, can hear.
Thank you. Right, we are about 33 now. What is the average number? How many were there in the morning lecture?
60, sir. Around
60.
60. Yeah.
Okay. Do you want me to wait for another couple of minutes, or was the message properly passed that we are going to start at 11:30? Because the usual time is 12. And today I suggested that we will start at 11:30 and have a longer break, maybe around 12:30 or 1. Was that communicated properly, or is there a batch representative from the batch who deals with communication and coordination matters? Is there a batch representative appointed?
Yes, sir. We have the batch representative called Kushan. He has dropped a message for all of us.
All right. Okay, then that means it was properly communicated, so we
Yes, sir.
can start. Right. Okay. We don't have to wait till others join. Right. So today's class is going to be much more interactive and activity based than even last session, because in an online session of this nature, you will mostly learn not by listening, but by doing what you hear as discussion points. You will remember only if you get to have some hands-on experience. So with that focus, let's continue to focus on qualitative research and try to understand more of it, more about it, more practical aspects of qualitative research. The entire session of last session was mainly focusing on sort of understanding qualitative research broadly and differentiating it from quantitative research methods, because quantitative research methods are predominantly driven by paradigm called positivistic paradigm, and mostly qualitative research is driven by the paradigms called post-positivist paradigms. So there are positivist paradigm, there is a positivist paradigm, and there are post-positivist paradigms. So there are different paradigms which are broadly known as post-positivistic paradigms, which are driving qualitative research we do. Are you familiar with this concept of paradigm, research paradigm? Was it something discussed in your initial classes by Advait sir? Or? Okay, right. Someone says no. So let's say then the research paradigm is sort of uh, it's a philosophy, it's a thinking pattern, it's a way of thinking, it's a way of looking at the world around us. So some people I mean, to put it in the very simplest form, some people look at the world in some way and some other people look at world in some other ways. So there is this common, not common, let's say a popular way of looking at the world by researchers called positivistic paradigm. Positivistic paradigm simply believes that there is only one single truth. There is only one single truth which can be observed, which can be measured. So therefore, they tend to adopt within the positivistic paradigm, they tend to adopt quantitative methods because they think that the reality or what they want to know can be measured and understood. They think that they can be quantified because there is only one truth. Let's say, for example, if you say employee motivation, they think employee motivation is this, therefore it can be observed and measured. But for a qualitative researcher, we always believe in the, maybe we also want to understand the notion of motivation and how it happens and how employees are motivated in organizations, but we believe that motivation, how motivation is defined can be different from group to group, person to person. It's in the mind of the person who experiences it. The way I define motivation is slightly different from the way somebody else is defined. The management perspective of motivation can be slightly different from the perspective of employees. Even from the employees' point of view, maybe senior employees would see it differently from the relatively less experienced employees. So this multiple reality, multiple nature of motivation exists is the belief of, let's say, post-positivistic paradigm. So they believe in multiple realities, whereas positivistic paradigm believes in single reality. So I mean, we can talk about days and days on these philosophies, but we please do remember that these quantitative and qualitative research are driven by different philosophical assumptions. Keep that point in mind, then you can do your own reading and understand, because this subject is not about teaching research philosophies, but this is about research methods. But what I want you to understand is methods won't just appear. Methods will not just come into action. These research techniques and methods will come into action with sort of an underpinning theoretical foundation. That is what we call the research paradigm. So quantitative techniques, those who adopt quantitative research techniques would have or would be driven by positivistic thinking. And post-positivistic thinkers like interpretivism, and there are many post-positivistic paradigms, they adopt different qualitative techniques because they are driven by sort of post-positivistic paradigm or school of thought. So again, I'm repeating myself. What you need to remember is that these techniques won't just come into play. They always have some sort of theoretical underpinning, some sort of um, you know, thinking base. So you also need to have that. But what we are learning at this point, what sort of qualitative techniques that we can adopt to conduct research if you wish to adopt qualitative techniques, what sort of techniques and how they are going to be adopted, and what do we do, and things like that. So that's what we are going to start with. And with that, what we did last week was basically we try to understand qualitative research in general, have an overall idea, have a feel about it. And then we also did a bit of a comparison between qualitative and quantitative studies. We also tried to understand the similarities between quantitative and qualitative studies. Although we have this clear differentiation between quantitative and qualitative techniques, remember I told you that some researchers would still choose to adopt both qualitative and quantitative tools together. They are called mixed method research. Is that clear up to now? Any questions you wanted to ask me from the discussion we had last week? I saw some of you tried to watch the video, or at least have the access to it, because I kept receiving emails with the way I have sent it. You know, you always require my permission to at least to watch or download the video. So I could see how many of you at least attempted to get the video down. Right. So Lakshmi says it's clear. Anything that you'd like to know? Anything, any questions you'd like to ask? Right. Okay, if you have questions, you can keep, putting them, posting them on the discussion board, the chat box. I will try to see them as we go. And then so let's get to this point, which I did not discuss last week. If you look at the main step of a qualitative research, okay, before we come to the discussion of qualitative or quantitative research, there are a couple of things that I wanted to highlight in terms of, we get to see a lot of the time we use the word researchers, previous researchers. There is no word called researchers. There can be researcher and researchers. You can see both plural and singular, different words for researchers, the person who conducts the research. When it comes to research, both singular and plural is the same. Research, previous research. When you say previous research, it can be one or it can be many. So please try not to use the word researchers, previous researchers. It's wrong, it's incorrect, right? So when you get to do quantitative, maybe qualitative research, there are some steps to go through. Some are similar to conducting a quantitative study as well. But then again, do not think or assume that this is the way. No, this is one of the common ways, which is suggested by the author of your textbook. But you may find some other scholars, authors, researchers who have written about qualitative research, and they present different other steps as well. But this is just to get to the point that, when you're doing a qualitative research, there are certain steps to go through. General research question is a common requirement for both of qualitative and quantitative researchers need to fulfill. You need to be able to identify a specific research question or few questions to answer. So irrespective of the method you choose, quantitative or qualitative, you have to have the research question. And then you have to choose relevant research site and subjects, who you're going to interview or who you're going to get the data from, or what context you're studying. Now, before I started this lecture, I had a phone call. Before I started this lecture, I had a phone call from a student. Now, this student is one of my postgraduate students who I supervise. And she said it's about, she's interested in studying about consumer vulnerabilities, vulnerability about people in the marketplace. So I asked, whose vulnerability? Someone asked, very good question. Can we use both approaches on one research, both qualitative and quantitative methods in one research? Of course you can. You can. They are called mixed method research. Mixed method research. Mixed method research, there are various ways of conducting mixed method research. One approach is you can conduct both quantitative and qualitative phases together. They are called parallel mixed methods. And there are some research which conducts quantitative phase first, followed by the qualitative one, or qualitative one followed by the quantitative approach. So they are called sequential mixed method. Some research would have qualitative phase at the beginning, then quantitative, then again qualitative phase. So depending on the rigor, depending on the type of the questions you answer, the nature of the questions you answer, you can arrange and organize the different approaches and how we are going to incorporate the approaches, quantitative and qualitative, into your research. For your project, which is something you're going to do next semester, I would say, uh, you want, most of you will select only one approach. From my experience, I can tell you that a lot of you would select one method because of the time and the resource limitations you have. You would pick only one method. In other words, you will select a research question or few questions that you can answer only with one method. But it's always your supervisor and you who will decide whether you go for one or a combination. I have seen some studies adopting both in one, which is mixed method research, which you can decide later. That's why we put these two areas together in one subject, so you can draw upon a relevant approach or maybe a mix of both depending on the project you're going to undertake. Hope I have answered your question. Uh, Hold on for a while. Hello? මම ඔයාලට තුනෙන් පස්සේ ගන්නම් නැත්නම් මට මෙසේජ් එකක් දාන්න මම ලෙක්චර් එකක ඉන්නේ. Right. So second point, first you have the research question, then my point, the point I was trying to talk about, the second one, where I was talking about my student's experience. So she was interested in studying about consumer vulnerability. So the question I asked her was, whose vulnerability are you talking about? Then she said, we all can be vulnerable at times. For example, now these days, although we have money, although we have maybe resources, when we go to the market, we become seriously vulnerable, either because of maybe health regulations or maybe arrangements within marketplace, the shopping complex. We may not be able to act like a normal consumer the way we usually behave. So therefore, we experience some type of vulnerability. Some of the customers, some of the people who are in the lockdown areas experience the vulnerability because of their access issues and also because of their resource problems, like money. They might not have purchasing power, money to buy stuff they want. So I asked them, is it the vulnerability of COVID affected people or people who are in lockdown areas, whose vulnerability you want to study? Basically, what I asked her was about who would be the subject of your study? Who would be the subject of your study? And she said, I want to study about disabled soldiers. So subject was clear then. And then research site, where you want to do the research. We did a research few years ago about challenges experienced by organic farmers in Sri Lanka. Organic farmers in Sri Lanka. So we collected the challenges experienced by organic farmers in marketing their products, selling their products to the market. So the areas we did this research was where they actually have their farms. So one research site was the areas where organic vegetables are grown, the farms, farming areas. And also we went, as I told you last week, we also went to this, I can't remember if it was your class or some other class. We also went to the place called Goods Market, which is located in Colombo. Colombo, not your class, some other class I said this. It's a market, some of you may have been to. It's a market where a lot of organic farmers would come with their products. It's located in Independent Arcades, next to Independent Arcades, the same building, next to the building. In the open space, they have Saturdays and I think Saturday full day, they have this market. They might not be doing it now, but they have been doing it for a long time. So we went there also because that is where you can find a lot of vendors, the sellers of organic products. Farmers would also come. And also, as I said, we went to Nuvareli and few other areas where organic farming takes place. So that is what the research site. So the key decision qualitative researcher would make once they identify the research objective or research questions, you then have to decide where you collect the data from, who you collect the data, and then you actually do the data collection. For data collection, you will use different techniques, which I will discuss. And once you collect the data, you will then analyze and interpret. I like the word analyzing added here, analyzing and interpretation of data, because data analysis is one thing. Interpretation of data can be related but different still. Now there is this famous example. It's a joke which you can easily remember, where there were two salespeople were sent to an island to study about the market potential of that particular island. They were into a shoe market, slippers, shoes. And as a result of the survey they did, or the research they did, they found out that the consumption is zero there. In other words, nobody wears slippers. In that particular island, nobody wears slippers. So the analysis shows that the consumption of current level of consumption is zero. Current level of consumption is zero. What does that mean? Zero consumption. Nobody wears slippers, which can be interpreted in many ways. So out of the two salespeople, one salesman came and said, nobody wears slippers. Therefore, we don't have any market there, no market potential at all. And the other person said, it's zero consumption, nobody wears slippers. If we focus on invest wisely, we can have the entire market. See, it's the same number, which is the zero consumption. Figure is zero. But the interpretation is different from one another. So now you can understand that it's not the data, it's not the finding that matters only. Finding and how it is interpreted, they're equally important. Now, it can be numbers or it can be anything. Whatever finding in its original form might not make sense. So therefore, you will have to do the findings through analysis and then interpret them correctly. Interpret them within the context, in relation to the context. So the first salesperson was just interpreting the number, whereas the second salesman was interpreting the number within the context, taking the contextual insights. There are people, if you make them, believe in that, if you give them proper awareness, they will start wearing shoes, which can then be grown into really good market. So, they look at it within the context so that they saw the potential. So interpretation matters therefore. And if at the interpretation level, you realize that what you have collected or the findings are not sufficient enough, maybe you will have to do further data collection and add. So that is where you can sometimes even do both quantitative and qualitative research. Sometimes you may decide to do a quantitative study, then you would do a qualitative study as well. One of the research we did some time back about microfinance consumers in Sri Lanka. We interviewed, initially we did two-page research. At the initial stage, we wanted to identify issues encountered by microfinance borrowers, mostly defaulters, issues encountered by them. We then analyzed, so we identified with maybe 45 or let's say 50 interviews, we identify some of the issues, and then to see how common these issues among the other microfinance borrowers, we then did a survey, quantitative research. Initial phase was qualitative, then we did a quantitative research, and for the quantitative research, we used a survey, and the questionnaire were developed based on the insights we have gained from the qualitative phase. So initial was qualitative, where we have identified the issues and problems encountered by consumers, and these insights were then taken into consideration in developing the questionnaire, which we used for the qualitative phase. So it's a mixed method research, and also, as you can see here, we did additional data collection as well. In a quantitative research, there is this phase number 5, which is conceptual and theoretical work. Now, according to this process, conceptual and theoretical framework, which means that the findings are presented in theoretical format, in a theoretical manner, rather than summarizing and presenting like a journal article. You're presenting your findings in a theoretical manner, which is what you're doing after interpretation. That being said, though, it's very important that you remember, even for qualitative research, this step 5 can come either after after step 1, because the qualitative research are not always purely theorizing. So there can be a conceptual framework, theoretical framework guiding the qualitative research. So this can come in between 1 and 2 as well. And then finally, as any research, you would start writing findings and conclusions, right? So when you're doing your qualitative research, when you're doing qualitative or quantitative research, as I said earlier, you have to have the research question identified, you have to have relevant data sites and subjects, data collection methods, interpretation, theorizing, and all that. So even in your report, you would do the same thing. What major research, the research you're going to do will be mostly related to an organization. But there can be some broader research which are published in the form of a research journal article, which we found out last week and had a discussion about. So research you conduct, you will publish and present in the form of a research report, which is what you will do. And some researchers like academics like us will publish our work in research conferences. They are called research papers, conference papers, and some would publish in a higher level formats, which is what we call research publications in the form of journal articles. So what I gave you last week for reference was a journal article. And today also I have uploaded one journal article written by a Sri Lankan scholar. So what you're now going to do is take the one I showed you last week, or the one I have uploaded 2 documents today, but take only one of them, which is published by a scholar called Abhay Vansa and his group. So take that article, or the one we did last time with Nuwan Gunaratne, take that, or the one I have uploaded today, and as a group, try to go through only one of the articles. Choose one, whatever the one you choose. Just go through them for 10-15 minutes. Try to identify the research question. You identify the research question in the abstract, or maybe in the introduction, or even in the discussion, the final part. And relevant sites where they did the data collection, who they collected the data from, and what sort of data they have collected, whether they have collected numbers or words or images or what is it. Interpretation you don't have to worry about. Try to get rough idea. Usually they don't do, further data collections in both cases, I don't think. Conceptual and theoretical framework, you have to just observe whether they have theorized after the data collection or whether they had any theoretical framework before data collection. Just try to have a feel of it, rough idea. So I would like to basically you to focus on the first three steps, if possible, next two steps, fourth and fifth steps. Right. Okay. Do you want to work in the same groups like last time, or I can't remember how many groups I formed last time, or even you might not remember which group you belong to.
10 groups are in the last.
Okay. If you remember group number, but like what I did last time, I will make 10 groups today. You can self-assign. You can assign yourself into the group. If you don't remember, or if you did not join the session last time, maybe you can choose to join another group, but I prefer you to join the same group as last time, right? So, okay, I will make 10 groups. You will have to self-assign. Is, is, is it clear? Are the instructions clear as to what you have to do? You can spend maybe 10-15 minutes just browsing through the article, and maybe one person can take the article on screen while others reading. One person can highlight or bold because it's in PDF format. You can put different color into it. You can do things like that. And I'll get each person to present each group, maybe not all 10, few selected groups to present their findings to the class. Right, okay. Let me now put you into groups. Right, you have about 15 minutes from now to do this. Read the methodology section mainly. Abstract, introduction, and methodology section. Because it's the methodology that talks about how they did the research. Theoretical framework you can identify from there. Which article did you select? මොකද්ද ඔයගොල්ලෝ තෝරපු ආටිකල් එක? Something online or one I have uploaded? Can you hear me or can't?
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
Can you all hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
But the problem is you have not selected one of the two articles I wanted you to take. You can take either one I have uploaded last week, University of Glasgow. Abhivas, yes, that's right. Yes, this is okay. This is okay. Right.
This one is today uploaded.
Yes, I think I uploaded this today. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
As the first step in sample selection, we obtain a list of all full service brokerage firm from the website. අන්න හරි. පළවෙනි එක අහුණානේ.
ඒ කියන්නේ
The list included 16 analysis firms. ඔය තියෙන්නේ
හරි හරි.
එහෙම ඒක වෙන්නේ නැති කියලා හිතුනේ.
ඒක ගහලා දාමු. ඒක highlight කරගන්නකෝ.
ඔව්. මේ highlight. Then a list of any working contact
අර 36 analyst firms.
එතන තියෙනවා මචං.
අලුතෙන් ආපු අය මචං බලපන්.
මම දුවන් මචං මොනවද ඔයගොල්ලෝ කියන්න තියනවනේ කියන්න ඒක ආගෙන ඉන්නකො.
රිසර්ච් ක්වෙස්චන් එක තමයි මේ බලන්න.
මේ මට පුනේ මම දැන් ලොග් උනේ ඒක. ආගෙන හිටියේ නේ සර් කේත්.
මේක රිසර්ච් ක්වෙස්චන් එක හොයලා highlight කරන්න කිව්වා.
රයිට් හරි මචං. මම තේන බයින දැන් වැඩේ.
The theoretical framework. I think ICI here. Here is not. No.
Page 9.
9.
No, introduction on this one.
ඔය තිය. අපි බලන්න ඔතන තියෙන. purpose එකට අනුව දාලා තියෙන එක.
Right, okay. Right, okay. Any group would like to share their experience, what they found, what challenges they have encountered in doing so? Any group, any volunteer group to start with? I'm going to name the groups if you're not coming forward. Any group to volunteer? You don't have to be perfect in your answer though. You might not be very clear about some aspects, but just, just to get the discussion started, I would like one group to, give it a try. You don't have to be perfect, just what you discuss. Because I observed some of the groups did really well. Time to time I join your groups, snook into your groups and was listening. I heard somebody said, man දැන් තමයි join උනේ. මේ මට හින්දා සර් කියපු ටික තේරුන්නේ නැහැ. And somebody said, we found this මේක හරි කියලා හිතනවා. ඒගොල්ලෝ හරි කියලා හිතපු එක හරි. Some were looking at the conclusion, some were looking at the methodology. So, I join almost every group. Without you noticing me there, I was listening to your discussions. Any group like to start?
Yeah, our group number 9, sir.
Okay, thank you.
The name of the article is published by Institute of Chartered Accountants and Employment. The journal name is Intellectual Capital. Intellectual Capital Information by Sell-Side Analyst in Company Valuation. So the author name is Abhay Singh, sir, and two others. So the focal point of this article, the article discusses about the estimation of the intrinsic value of price target between the some sort of they discuss about in this article, they discuss the researcher.
If you want, you can share the screen if it's possible, and if you want. Do you want to share the screen, or you can just
voice is breaking down, sir. Your voice breakdowns.
My voice?
Yeah, your voice is breakdown, so sorry.
Okay,
I couldn't
is it clear now? Is it clear now?
Oh, no.
Can you hear me now properly?
No, sir. Breaking.
Okay, you can keep going because we can hear you. So keep talking.
Yeah, actually, sir, this article discuss the relationship between the capital, intellectual capital information and financial market. How should the company invest their intellectual capacity in the market? Why they are reluctant to invest the more amount into the intellectual capitals rather than the financial capital. So in which point the company face the loss by failing to adopt the investing in intellectual capacity. So such a way, in the introduction part, they are discussing that one. Actually, the other point is the objectives of the study to penetrate the black box and offer further insight to the intellectual capacity information theory. Actually, this article adopt the theory. They have supported the theory, intellectual capacity information theory.
So can you now see? Can you now see? Can you hear me now properly?
Yes, actually, because of the time strains, we were unable to read
No
thoroughly.
problem, because you don't have to. You don't have to. I understand. It takes about 2 to 3 days for you to understand the entire article. You don't have to. You don't have to. Understand the whole thing. But rough idea that this study is about this. This is what they did. So what I wanted to highlight with this study, also this particular process which is on the screen shows that the conceptual and theoretical framework comes after the data interpretation. In your study, this particular study is guided by a particular theoretical framework. That is why I said in some.
Yes, actually, this this article, the data collection is guided by the conceptual framework, sir. After the conceptual framework developed, that the data has been collected and analyzed.
That is why I said these theoretical frameworks, these processes are not fixed. They change from study to study, maybe in different methods. So that's the point I wanted you to understand. Okay, keep going. Good.
Yeah. Finally, the conclusion is there is a significant relationship between the intellectual capacity intellectual capacity and the financial market, because they highly recommend, the researcher highly recommend to readers, the firms in the contemporary situation, the firms should invest more amount, the reasonable amount in the intellectual, to develop the intellectual capacity capital in a way to reasonable and profitable manner, so as to achieve the organizational goals. So that otherwise, if they are reluctant to invest in intellectual capital, is the financial profitability will be questionable, like that they're discussing.
Right. Okay. Very good. Very good insights. Anyone else? Anyone? Any other group?
Our other group members got some points, I think.
Okay. Yes. Please go ahead.
Yes, group number 9. Other friends, please speak to me.
Nothing new to present or what? You're scared or?
So the rest of the members from our group number 9, please share your information.
It seems that nobody is interested in talking from group number 1, group number 9. Any other group? Any other group? Right. Group number 7. Group number 7, somebody from group number 7.
Can you hear me, sir? I'm Chanukar.
Yes, yes.
Yes, actually, as our
Was it the same study or the other one?
the same study, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, basically this research question we found in this abstract in the first statement. Actually, it was about to study on intellectual capital information in sales study analysis and how it can be used to evaluate value a company. Then relevant
What was the research site like? Yeah, where who did they get the data from?
they data they collected from hold on. They use actually semi-structured interviews and in the 15th page we could this information they have taken those information from they have selected the sample from full service brokerage firms from the website of the Australian Security Exchange. The list I got this from this article.
Okay.
The list included 36 analysis firms operating in Australia. Then a list of analysts working for those brokerages and their contact information was compiled from publicity available information gleaned from brokerage firm websites and analyst report. A total of 90 analysts from 20 firms were identified in this way. The identified analysts covered 19 industries of Australian economy.
Right. Okay.
And initially they have called to these their sample units, and if they are interested, they have go ahead to have this interview.
So there is a selection process.
Yeah.
Yes, they don't select from any company. They go through a selection process and make sure that a particular type of organization or company is selected for the data collection. This is what is called sampling, which I will discuss later. But please do remember that there are different sampling techniques to choose from. Very right. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Right. Then any other group to share? Group number 5. Group number 5. Right. Group number 4. Group number 4. Somebody said, all findings were mentioned. We are from group number 4. No, when I say you have to speak, you have to speak. You can't say all findings were mentioned, but you can articulate slightly differently. Okay, right now this time group number 4, you have an excuse. In the next activity, you will get the chance. Right. Okay. Group number 1. Group number 1. Which article did you read? Group number 1. Right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put you back into your groups, and you will have to have a group discussion, serious group discussion. When I ask you to share your group discussion points, you will have to have an agreement within the group who is going to talk, and what they're going to be talking about. Right. This is how we are going to do online group activities. You can't be, you can't be silent forever. You'll have to speak up. So I'm going to put you back into groups and decide.
Sir, excuse me, sir. I'm Tanuja from group number 1.
Which study did you read? Group number 1.
Sir, I'm Tanuja from group
Yes,
number
I
1.
can hear you. Which study did you read?
We studied about environmental management, accounting for environmental management and organizational change article.
Okay.
Yeah, we discussed about research question and we come out, it's about how we can implement and integrate environmental management accounting practices. And the relevant site and subject was, its study was done based on hotel sector in Sri Lanka.
Very good.
And they have collected primary data from semi-structured interviews. And
have they had any theory guiding the study?
Case study method was
The
adopted.
case study method was the major, qualitative research methodology they have chosen.
Yes.
What I'm asking is, did you find out anything about the theory? It's perfectly all right if you did not. Did you come across anything about the theory? Like other study, they said they have had a theory to support the study, guide the study. For this one, did you have something like that?
Actually, no, sir. We
Okay,
didn't
that's
came
fine.
across.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. We will give it a try. Right. Okay. Thank you. Group number 8.
Hello, sir. I'm Adara from group number 8. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you, madam. Which article did you read?
So, based on the research article, the article topic is environmental management accounting for environmental management and organizational change.
Okay.
So the research questions, I agree with what the earlier member has said, and apart from that, they have found out, like they have gathered information based on 3 different aspects. So in terms of research question, they looked at how these environmental management accounting practices going to support the hotel sector to survive, and in terms of cost factor. And the other one is how it impacts on their daily operations.
Right. Thank you.
And the model they have used is integrated eco-control model. That is their conceptual framework.
Conceptual framework. Were they guided by this particular theoretical model, or did they come up with the theoretical model as a result of the study?
Based on the literature sources, they have come up. They have
come up with this model, and then the model has guided the study.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for finding that out, because that's the point I wanted to understand. There are some studies where they will have the theoretical model developed as a result of the research, and some research you will find where they use the theoretical model to guide the rest of the study. So both studies we have been reading are having theoretical models to guide the study. Right. Okay. Very good pickup. So
yes,
that's group number 1. Yes. Keep going.
Yes, and so they have followed the case study research strategy, and semi-structured and in-depth interviews were conducted, and the data was collected from general manager, gardener, naturalist, engineer, and a few of those people. And secondary data was collected using the internal documents like green books, websites, magazines, and
so they seem to have both primary and secondary data in this case.
Yes, and they have analyzed it using the explanation building approach.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much. So that makes my job very easier, because the next few steps we are going to, next few slides we are going to be discussing, you would make use of this example. Anyone from group number 5? Group number 5. Somebody will have to do the talking. Group number 5. Can you please identify yourself if you were in group number 5? I'm not going to continue until group number 5, members of the group number 5 identify themselves. Group members of the group number 5 will have two choices. One, please put your names. I'm not going to call out your name and ask you to present, but put your names onto the chat box so that I know group number 5 members are here. If not, I'm going to stop the lecture now and will not join again. So I'm going to put you back into groups. Group number 5, have a serious discussion. If you are not, presenting yourself when I ask you to do so, I'm not ready to continue this lecture. You have to take when something is told, you have to take it seriously, because I'm assuming that I'm dealing with a mature group of people, and knowing that the challenges we have in the online platforms, we do this. Maybe you have background noises, maybe you have some other issues for not being able to come forward and take. Maybe you don't understand what I ask you to do. So even then you should be able to speak up and say that if instructions were not clear, or can we please get more time or something like that. Just because you're on the other side and I don't get to see you physically doesn't mean that you can hide forever, right? So I'm not going to tolerate that type of behavior from any group I get to teach, right? So I'm going to put you back into your groups and have a serious chat, especially group number 5. So we have registration number 011 Tuakaran, 036 Dilshani Silva, 037 PM Karivasam, 43 DD Dharmasekara, and NH Patuge They are the members of the group number 5. So I'm now going to continue. I'll put you back into groups. Group number 5, you need to come up with a valid reason as to why you did not speak up. Otherwise, I'm not going to continue with your group.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
Sir, we did that EMA for environmental management and organization challenge
Which
article.
group are you representing?
5.
No, you have to present it to the class, not to me.
Okay, sir. How I join?
Yes. Let me reconvene the groups.